move away from this desk, man. We're in Dubai after all. Look, if you're here, chances are you've seen a massive digital boom taking place, bigger than my auntie's earlobes. Her earlobes are actually massive. The point is, you're here because you've seen a digital boom where people are becoming multi-millionaires in their 20s. And maybe you've heard of different opportunities like building out your own social media marketing agency, high-ticket affiliate marketing, becoming a remote closer, and the list goes on and on and on. We're joined by this bird today, my bird. The point is, you're here because you've maybe tried some of those opportunities or you've heard about them and you want to figure out exactly how you can get a piece of this pie so you don't sit there on your hands wondering why you missed out on this opportunity and you're still stuck in the same position, working a job, being broke, not achieving your financial freedom goals, whether that's looking after your wife, whether that's retiring your parents, whether it's retiring yourself, or just building a life that has zero financial limitations. Now, if you're new to my page, let me introduce myself. My name's Mehdi, and it's true what the title says. I did go from a broke high school dropout with a negative bank balance of £22 in my bank account. £22. For those of you watching in the States, that's a negative bank balance of $30. Now, and I scaled that all the way up to a business that has generated me over $2.9 million online by the age of 22. Now, I'm not here to make this channel all about me and brag about my amazing life and the fact that I'm in warm, sunny Dubai. It's more to basically help you. And the reason over the next 30 to 45 minutes, I want you to stay focused and pay attention is because if you can't even focus for 30 to 45 minutes, building a business isn't for you. Fuck, these windows need cleaning and you might be better suited for that. Point being, I don't want to make this channel strictly about me and my achievements. I want to make it so that you guys watching on the other side can get access to lessons that I wish I had 7-8 years ago. Lessons that are going to help you avoid a bunch of costly mistakes. Avoid blowing $100,000 just like I did. Avoid going broke after you build up your first business to success. And more importantly, fast track your journey because it shouldn't have taken me how long it did had I had the right help, had I known what I know now, right? But the fact of the matter is I didn't. But you have an opportunity to get access to that information. So what I'm promising you is this. By the end of the next 30 to 45 minutes, you're going to join me on my screen. You and I, we're going to sit down together and I'm going to walk you through step by step my entire journey, some very crucial lessons I learned on the way, and my exact step-by-step blueprint as to how I built a business that generates well over $100,000 every single month. And I'll show you some proof that it hasn't just worked for me. Take Justice, for example, here. He came to us with zero understanding of anything to do with this industry. He tried his hand in a few different affiliate marketing opportunities, had little to no success. And if he's been able to grow a business that has done just shy of over $1 million online, there's no reason as to why you can't, right? Or single mothers that I've worked with like Kelly, who's now been able to generate an extra $7,000 to $8,000 a month. I know it's not massive money, but at the end of the day, if she can do it as a single mother, working from home with a couple of kids, there's no reason as to why you can't do it either. Or Nabil Zegaf, who again was promoting different Amazon FBA opportunities prior to meeting us. And he was doing decent. He'd made his first 6 figures, but now he's got a business that consistently generates him well over $50,000 to $60,000 every single month, now that he's had some of our help. So there's countless clients, and I could go on and on about these clients, but I'm not here to bore you with that. I'm here to give you an actionable step-by-step plan that you're going to be able to walk away with today and implement. So with that being said, I'll see you on the desk. I've been Mehdi. This has been Dubai. Dubai's a paid actor. And I'll see you at the desk. All right, cool. Look, now that we're at the desk, let me break down a little bit about my journey. I'll keep it as brief as physically possible, just so that you can get an understanding as to how I started out. So I'm Picasso, by the way. I've got some of the best artist skills in the world. So essentially, this is me, okay? I should draw a belly because I was a lot more fatter than that. Point is, I was studying in high school and I had no idea what I wanted to be. The reason I'm putting lines on it is high school was pretty much a jail cell. Okay, so end of the day, I'm sitting there, I'm studying, I have no idea what I want to do as my career path. I'm studying engineering because the coolest things I knew at the time was cars. And as you can see from the way I live my life, I love my cars. Point being is I was studying and I'm thinking to myself, I don't know what I want to do. You know, I don't know where I'm going to take this. My parents want me to be a lawyer or a doctor or engineer because that's what's defined as success in my family. So essentially, I'm sitting there and I'm studying and I have no idea what I want to do. Next thing you know, everybody's sitting down with their careers advisors. And quite honestly, at the time, I had a cousin, okay? Now, we're going to call my cousin A. for a brief because his identity cannot be revealed today. He's a top secret agent. Now, point being, I sat down with him and he was doing some online business at the time. And I don't even know what the fuck he did. Quite honestly, all I thought is he was a fitness trainer. So at that point in time, I used to go stay around their house because they had all the PlayStations and everything. Now, going over to his house, I remember one day extremely vividly, he was sitting down and I was like, why don't you have a website? And I remember in some IT class while I was slacking off playing CS, Counter-Strike, you know, the teacher was talking about building a website and we had an assignment to basically put together a website. So I did it and I said, hey, why don't you have a website? And he goes to me, well, I don't really know how to build one. So all I did for the next 15 to 20 minutes is I sat down on some free website builder, some drag and drop system. I think it was called Weebly or something like this. I signed up, put some products in with some Amazon affiliate links and I said, here's your website. Now, every time someone goes to your website and buys something, you're gonna make money because you're a fitness trainer and you recommend them all these supplements anyways. So I went about my day, I continued playing video games and I thought nothing of it. 2 days later, while I'm staying at his house, he comes to me and he says, I made my first sale. I got paid. And what I want you to do is I want you to meet my business partner because he's seen my website and he's very impressed with it. And at the time, I'd never done a business meeting. I don't even know what it's supposed to be like. So I was fat, overweight, I had some slick back hair, and he says, now you've got a meeting with my business partner. So I remember I'm sitting there, I'm spraying mouth spray, I'm brushing my teeth so my breath doesn't smell. My breath never smells. Point is, I was sitting down and I was getting ready for this meeting, and we pull up to McDonald's, right? And when I used to live in London, there was a small village in London called Northolt Village. And there was a McDonald's, there's some broken down McDonald's. I'll put a picture of the screen. And I go and meet his business partner. And he's some bald guy, right? And he told me, his first words for me, no fucking word of a lie, was, I'm dyslexic and I make 6 figures a year. Now bear in mind, I'm 15 or 14 at the time. I was 14, right? I didn't even know what 6 figures meant. I just thought it was a term, right? So I just kind of brushed over it and I was like, you know, whatever, right? So a guy sits down to me and he looks me dead in the eye and it felt like a scene from a movie. He says, you, kid, you have talent, right? Maybe he wasn't Mr. Miyagi or anything, but the point is, he sat down and he said, you have talent, right? I've seen the website and I want you to build me one like this and I'm willing to pay you. And I was like, money. So we're sitting in McDonald's, right? And he's, you know, buying like a frappe or whatever the case is. And he says, I said, it's okay, I'll just do it because I was kind of shy to ask him for money. So he says, no, I'm going to pay you 300 pounds, right? So I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, 300 pounds, like that's a lot of money. Like imagine all the PlayStation games that I could buy. Point is, he sat there and he basically said he's going to pay me 300 pounds to build this website. I went home that same night, I built the website same night and delivered it to him, right? And he was very happy. And I had some light Photoshop skills that I kind of watched some YouTube tutorials on how to do. I had some broken down laptop, Asus or Dell, I don't even remember the brand, right? Point is, the guy was very impressed and he paid me the money and that was the most amount of money I'd ever made in a single day in my entire life. Bear in mind, I'm 14 years old, right? And it didn't occur to me what was happening, but at the time I was getting paid for my skill sets, right? Because I had a skill which I kind of half learned through an IT class that I wasn't really paying attention in and some free YouTube videos. So point being, I delivered him the website and you know, 1 day goes by, 2 days go by, I don't hear back anything, right? So he told me he was very impressed and then my cousin calls me and he says, you know, this guy wants to take you to an event, right? And I said, what do you mean an event, right? Like, you mean another McDonald's trip? And he said, no, he wants to take you to a business event where he wants you to meet some of his network. Now, bear in mind, I didn't know what network was. I just thought it's the thing that connects you to the internet at the time, right? So point being, I sit down with him and he walks me to this event and he says, you know, before going into the event, we were taking the train there and he's just asking me 100 questions about mindset and all this other stuff. And he's like, have you read this book called Think and Grow Rich? Where did you learn these skills? Do you have a dream to build a business? I was like, I don't know, man. Look, I just built you a website. I built one for my cousin. You seem to like it. I built you one. And he said, look, you have a skill set and I have network, right? Just like me, there are other people out here that want to learn how to basically, you know, they want a website for their business. They have a need for something like this, right? So I was like, okay. And then he said, I got you a gift. And he reaches into his bag and he pulls out this gift, right? It was wrapped up and he slides it over to me. And I'm standing on the train. So I was like, half opening this gift wrap while holding onto the train, making sure that I don't die. And he slides me over it, I unwrap it, and it's a book. And the title of the book was The Sales Bible by Jeffrey Gitomer. And I'll never forget the navy blue, color of the book the minute I opened it up. And I'd never really read any books up until then, apart from a book on Cristiano Ronaldo, because he's goated. Point being, I sat there and he said, listen, what I want you to do is I want you to learn how to sell, right? And this book is going to teach you how to sell. And this is a book that's helped me. And he's like, I'm dyslexic, but I've listened to the audio book and it's amazing. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna read it, right? So on the way to the event, I just sat there quietly reading the book. The guy was, on his phone. He was texting. I don't know what he was doing, right? We pull up to the event, and something at this event changed the way I saw everything forever, right? I go to this event, and I'm sitting there, and I meet this other guy called Shaq, right? Not like the basketball player, but short guy, kind of fat. Anyways, this guy made a lot of money, right? And he went up on stage and he said, guys, I'm 26 years old and I've made over $3 million. I said, $1 million? This guy's a millionaire, right? So at that very moment in time, I used to think millionaires, it's not like now where millionaires come a dime a dozen. Back then, I think it was like 2014 or 2015, millionaires are something that you hear about, like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire or on one of those shows, right? So I'm sitting and the guy comes over to me. And obviously I'm thinking, why, did I do something wrong? Am I not allowed to be here or something? And he says, you, kid, how old are you? Right? And I said, I'm 14. And he said, wow, that is truly amazing. Right? And I'm trying to keep low because I'm the youngest person in this room. Everyone's 30 plus, doctors, lawyers, engineers, the whole 9 yards. Right? So he goes back on stage and said, everybody, welcome Mehdi. He's the youngest kid in the room. Everyone starts clapping. My face goes bright red with embarrassment because I'm trying to stay low. And now I'm the center of attention in this room. And then he proceeded to basically say something at the front of the room that really clicked with me, and I'll never forget these words. He went up on stage and he asked everybody, who here is a doctor? Half the hands went up. Who here is a lawyer? Who here is an engineer? Who here has a master's degree? And I'm just seeing hands raised all the way up to the ceiling. And then the question started to change. He said, who here is satisfied with their lives? Half the room's hand dropped, right? Who here has over 10 grand in their savings? Almost only 2 hands were pretty much up in the entire room. Who here, regrets the fact that they went to school and studied and didn't start a business? All the hands went up, right? And just like that, the belief that had been drilled into my head by my parents, my teachers, and everybody else around me, that you need to go to school, you need to work a job, you need to work a 9 to 5, and basically that's how you make money, was shattered with a room full of people who'd done those very same things and were stuck in the same situation. And at that stage, it became clear to me that I don't want to do any of those things. What I want to do is I want to start a business. But I'm 14. I don't have any money apart from the £300 I just made. I don't know what the f*** to do. I don't know any of these complicated terms that these guys are throwing around, right? So I sat there and I thought to myself, well, how am I going to do this? And, the guy, I'm going to call him R for this video. His name is Raheem. Let me just tell you his name. So Raheem comes to me and he says, look, have you read the book? And I said, yeah, I've started on the book. He said, okay, I want to introduce you to this couple that I've known for a very long time. Their name is Wayne and Donna Osborne, right? And I remember it like it was yesterday. Wayne, crazy motherfucker. Donna, very loud and interesting character. So, very nice people though, right? So, he sits me down with them and he says, look, in about 24 hours, I'm going to set up a phone call between you guys and you're going to offer the service. Now, I had no idea what I was going to say to them, how I was going to speak to them, etc. As I'm on the way back home from this event, after the event finished, I'm reading this book all throughout the journey. And I finished this book in maybe 24 hours. All I did is read this book. And as I kept reading it, it started to teach me about sales. The fact that this is literally word for word what the book said. People have problems. People pay me to fix their problems. I make money. I use money to buy cool shit. If you don't believe me, go read the book, okay? So that became apparent to me that these people have a problem and I have the capability to solve it. Maybe I'm not the best website builder in the world, but they don't have a website at all, right? So I sat down, the next 24 hours, calls coming up, my heart's racing, I'm drinking lots of coffee. Yeah, I was a coffee addict at 14. And then I'm speaking to these people and I'm thinking to myself, I don't even know what to say. pick up the phone and they start talking. Hi Mehdi, etc. Raheem's told us good things about you, and we hear that you can build us a website. And then my sales pitch just came out of nowhere, right? It's like everything I read in that book just came to life. I sat there and I was like, yeah, absolutely. So you guys have business cards? And they're like, yeah, absolutely, we have business cards. I was like, great. So what happens to your business card the minute someone leaves the event? And they're like, people throw them away, some people keep them, I don't know. And then this is exactly what I said. I said, listen, there's two things that happen. 14-year-old me with a squeaky ass voice was like, there's two things that happen. Number one, people throw those business cards away. Or B, they lose them. How many people come to you and say, look, I've got your business card and I'm calling you as a result? They said, a few. Exactly. But can you track how many of those people ever come back to you? And they said, no. I said, think about it like this. Your website is your digital business card that people can never lose. And that was my pitch, right? And they said, they were pretty much sold at that point. They were kind of sold beforehand because they were a referral. But that was my first experience in sales ever. So I sat there, and by the end of the call, I'm kind of nervous to talk about price. Every person that's ever experienced sales has felt this way when you bring up price. So I broke down the price and I said, look, it's going to be £500 and I'm going to build your website in 48 hours. So I gave them a promise and speed. And then essentially all I told them is, and because I know you guys don't know too much about websites, I will charge you £50 a month for a management fee. And they said, that's amazing. Where do we send the money? And then I'm scrabbling, getting my phone, and I was nervous because I didn't want Raheem to think I'm just taking money. So I gave them my bank details and I said, perfect, transfer the money. I saw the wire hit and I said, no fucking way. Like in the space of a week, I've made just under £1,000. I made £800, over $1,000 US. There's no way this is happening. There's no way this is real, right? And from that moment, I lost complete interest in going to formal education because I felt like I learned so much more within that 1 week than I ever did sitting behind a classroom, aka the prison cell. So when that became apparent to me, it clicked, and I went back to Raheem. We split the money 50-50. He took 250, I took 250, and then I kept the management fee every month to keep it running. Okay? And what that showed me at the time is, look, all you need to do is go out there and A, figure out a problem that you can solve for someone. B, go out there and learn how to explain and communicate that they have a problem. And then C, offer a solution in exchange for money. That was the most valuable, eye-opening thing that I learned from that entire experience. And the minute I learned that, I've tried countless things. So Raheem and I went our separate ways. We had some disagreements, etc. And that stage left me on my own. But before that happened, I made the decision to drop out. And Raheem was aware of the fact that I dropped out. And he was a really nice mentor to me. I learned a bunch of great things. But the point is, I sat there and I vividly remember I dropped out and now I'm on my own. Before I had the support of someone else, now I'm completely on my own. So I started dabbling into different opportunities. I tried affiliate marketing because the concept was, we've done all the work, we've created a product, we've solved the problem. You just need to find people and connect them to our solution and get paid. So I tried a bit of that and I had zero success, right? And then I tried drop shipping. I tried to open up my own store. It was a Dragon Ball Z store because Dragon Ball Z was, popping back then. And I made some sales. I'm starting to learn how to run ads. I'm going on YouTube and I'm watching countless videos to try and figure it out. But I always felt like whenever I was on YouTube, someone had one piece of the information and the other person had the other piece of information. Sometimes it was conflicting. So it's very overwhelming to do things just watching free YouTube videos. So I set up my ads. I actually made my first couple of sales. I made just under $100 with that store before the store ended up getting shut down because it was around Dragon Ball Z. So it's copyright products, right? And at that point, I had orders to fulfill and I couldn't fulfill them because my store's been shut down, my stripes, blocked off, and I had a ton of refunds come in. And that left me in a negative bank balance of £22. And that's how I went completely broke. So I've dropped out now. I'm absolutely broke. I don't know what the fuck to do. So at this stage, all I'm doing is I'm going on Facebook and I'm connecting with some people, right? People that are doing a lot better than me. And I had a conversation with multiple people and they all just wanted to sell me their products and services. And at the time, because I was broke, I couldn't physically afford it. So the next thing that I did is I got a sales role.
There's a good friend of mine that I met at one of the first events, Z. It's where I met him, at that free event. You'll see it on screen. And when I met him at the free event, I sat there and I remember I messaged him and I'd be like, hey man, you remember me from this event? We met up. I'm just curious if you're looking for members on your team, right? So he said, you know what? I actually might have a role for you. Let's have a chat, right? So we caught up, had a chat. He said, look, I've got this huge database of leads. I still have the leads database today. It was over 1,000 leads. And he said, look, all I want you to do is call them and tell them that you're calling from Z Adams' desk. Now I'm in my fucking bedroom, right? With my single mattress on the floor, you know, with my little posters on the wall that said, you know, success is your duty and obligation by Grant Cardone. And I'm just calling and hammering this list, trying to convert, trying to close, trying to sell. I'm watching endless YouTube videos, learning how to sharpen my skill sets, because I realized that even if I'm broke, the one thing that can help me make money is my skill sets and solving a problem. Again, the next problem I moved on to solving was inside Aziz's business. He had a bunch of leads. He was a busy guy. He was doing well for himself. He didn't have time to call these people. So I ended up calling them in exchange for making a commission, right? So calling. I have tally marks on a notebook. I'm just tally mark after tally mark after tally mark. And the point of the matter is, you know, I called and eventually I got through to one guy. I'll never forget him, Nakib, amazing guy. He picked up the phone, you know, and I managed to sell him on a done for you offer, right? So Z at the time used to sell done for you websites, but in the form of a funnel. So there's websites and then there's funnels. Funnels are like the new type of website. Essentially, I sold him on a done for you funnel for $500, and he paid. I saw the commission come in. I'm actually going to put a screenshot of that sale on screen right now. And the point is, when he paid that money, it made me realize that no matter where I go, as long as I have the right skill sets, because of the fact that I've spent time learning the right skill sets, I can never go broke. And that put me above a bank balance of negative $22. And this is where I decided to sit down and invest into coaching, right? Because all the money I made from sales commissions, I decided, look, I'm going to invest it all into just learning and sharpening my skill sets. Because the more I invest into myself, I can never go broke again, because I'm always going to have a skill set that can solve someone's problem in exchange for money, right? So, cut a long story short, Z and I started to work together, you know, and it was going well. Had some bumps in the road. So at this point, Z and I, we went our separate ways. Now, as we went our separate ways, you know, there was a period of time where he had shit going on in his life, I had shit going on in my life. And we just kind of, you know, I was focusing on Forex trading, where I thought I was going to become this multi-millionaire Forex trader. I went absolutely dead broke with nothing in my bank account. And I remember, you know, a few months later after going broke, I was meeting up with Z. We went for a little Nando's, okay? Classic fucking Nando's. And we sat there and he said, bro, let me ask you a question. You know, you're young. I believe I was 17 at the time. Do you at least have $10,000 to your name? And for a long time, because a lot of people had seen me be successful before, it was very hard to sit there and believe the reality that I didn't. So when I told him, I was like, look, I don't. And he said, thank you for being honest with me. A lot of people would lie to me in this situation. So I was honest with him about my situation. This is another thing. You have to be extremely honest with where you're currently at. I was honest to him about my situation, and he sat there and he said, listen, at 7 o'clock today, I have a lady called Renee, and she's interested. Now between then, I've got a couple of other sales calls, and I want you to watch me. And this is where I learned one of the best fucking skills that I've ever seen in my life. The one call close. And I saw Z, and typically beforehand when I would close sales, it would take me 3 or 4 or 5 calls to even, you know, convince that person to buy. And within 45 minutes, I saw Z make $1,500, $2,000, $5,000. And I'm just watching these sales just fly in. And I'm like, no way, this guy is literally printing money. And that was my first experience of Stripe, because I'd always take wires. And I'm just seeing his phone refresh numbers, and it felt like a fucking video game. Point is, I sat there and I had a call coming up with Renee at 7 o'clock, and I was patiently just observing everything. I get on the phone, spent an hour and 30 minutes, but by the end of it, she bought, and she spent $1,500. Because at the time, Z had an offer where he was training affiliate marketers on how to generate leads. Now, it made me realize that these are all things that I had done before. I would message people on Facebook, I would build a relationship with them, I would, you know, book them in for a call, I would close them. This is exactly the same things that I've been doing. And Z provided them with a funnel. I used to provide people with a website, right? So I sat down with Z, and him and I made an agreement to partner up. I said, look, everything that you're doing, I'm very confident I can help you and work with you full time and dedicate nothing but my 100% into building this together. This is where we launched Straight Line, right? And this is where life truly changed. So we started off, we had a very basic offer, $1,500. We work with you for 12 weeks. We help you build your funnel, get leads, make sales. And we started closing. And it would literally just be me and Z in cafes around London. Sit there, close deals, leave the cafe, make money, buy food, and go home. And rinse and repeat the same cycle. And then before we knew it, we went from doing a couple sales a month, 1,500, 3 grand, to then 8 grand, and then 10 grand, and then 15 grand, and then 20 grand, right? And at this point, we had a client walk in the door who actually said she wanted to work with us. And at this point that she said she wanted to work with us, we decided to hire her as someone that would do all the messaging. So where it was just me and Z, hustle and bustle, he takes calls, I takes calls, he delivers the clients, and we work together, it started to turn into an actual business where I would close all the deals because I really enjoyed sales. Z would deliver the clients because he really enjoyed client delivery and fulfillment. And this new person that came on our team, she would spend time generating all the leads. So at this stage, there's 3 of us, right? And we started to build a machine. And I remember the day so vividly where we hit our first $20,000 month. It was actually £20,000. But point being, when we hit it, I was like, fuck, this is crazy. Like, we have this well-oiled machine that just keeps turning, right? And then we just started to grow and scale. I was like, look, if we're getting so many clients at $1,500, let's let's increase the price and add on to what we're delivering. And we started to develop the program together, started to understand, now that we've built a team, chances are other people need a team as well. Maybe there's other businesses that we can help. And over the years, we've just gradually grown and scaled to, 20K a month, 30K a month, 40, 50, and up to 100K a month. And now we have a team of 12 plus members that work with us completely full time. And as you can see, we've generated well over $2.9 million or so, right? And this is at the age of 22. Bear in mind, 14, when I was first ever starting out, I had no idea how any of this stuff worked. 15, when I first started making money, I made a little bit of money, but it wasn't really life-changing. 16, I went completely broke. 17, I went broke again. And there's been countless times in my journey where I've tried so many different opportunities and none of them have ever worked. And the reason why, above anything else, the one thing I want you to walk away with and understand today is it's not about chasing the new opportunity. It's about developing the right skill sets, because once you have the right skill sets, no one can take them away from you, right? And now, obviously, we've helped countless clients scale and grow their businesses. So why am I sharing this story with you? Because if you're anything like me, you either started out, you've tried to grow, you've tried different opportunities, maybe you failed and you haven't found the correct path for you. Or maybe you're at 20 or 30 grand a month and you want to scale to well over $100,000 a month, just like we have. And you need the well-oiled systems inside of your business. Wherever it is that you're at, the main things that you always want to remember is everything is on the side of who you encounter, right? It's not about what you know, because I didn't know shit, right? It was about all the people that I met along the journey that helped me bridge the knowledge gap that I didn't have. Alex Hormozi famously says this, and he says very clearly, how much is it costing you to not know what you don't know, right? And if every month your goal is you want to make 10 grand a month, and for 12 months that's going to be 120K a year, every month that you don't make 10 grand a month, it's costing you 10 grand not to know that information. Because if you knew what you were supposed to know and you could do it, you would have $10,000 this month, right? So in a year, it costs you 120 grand to not know that information. And since then, at every point inside of my business where I've ever felt stuck, I've always looked for someone that has a skill set, that has the experience, and figured out how can I put together the money to pay this guy, to buy their time, to buy their experience, and avoid it costing me so much money to not know what I'm supposed to know today, right? So with that being said, look, if you are someone that wants to grow a business, the number one things that I would say for you to do at this very moment in time in your life is A, learn valuable skill sets. Figure out a problem that you can solve, right? Whether it's in the health niche, the wealth niche, the fitness niche, or the relationship niche, you want to figure out problems that other people have, because those problems cost other people their time, energy, money, time with loved ones, experiences in their life. And if you can find a way to package up a solution then what you're going to be able to do is charge them for it and start to make money. Now, if that's something that you're already doing and you're at a stage where you're like, look, I do have a problem that I do solve, but other people don't see it the same way. They don't want to give me money in return for it. And yes, I make a couple thousand or I make 10 grand, but I can't scale it to the level that you guys are at. Then what you need to do is you need to restructure everything that you're doing. You need to change your perspective and get an experienced set of eyes that can look at your business and help you understand where you're going wrong. Because if I'm driving a car, I can only see ahead. Right? I might be able to see behind, but if someone's flying over me, they can see the whole map. They can see where my next left is, where my next right is. They can see that I'm about to miss it before I even miss it, right? So at the end of the day, if you're new here and you want to work with me one-on-one, then you can, right? I do charge for coaching and you can find out more about that below. If you're new here and you just want to get some more free advice or free content to help you understand some of the exact steps that you can implement to grow your business, or how to sharpen your sales, or how to build great offers, or the best niches, then check out some of my free content on YouTube. If you want to connect with me and just say hi, click on the link in the description and let's get connected on Instagram. Regardless of the case, I want to make this channel as impactful for you guys as possible. Okay? So I hope you guys learned a lot of lessons across my story and my journey today. I'm excited to hear some of your stories for when you guys implement some of the advice I've given you, when you guys consume some of this free content and apply it and then start to see some life-changing results. Because the truth of the matter is, it's possible. It's just about deciding who you want to become. Do you want to be that person that's always going to scroll on YouTube and look for the next best advice, get a hit of dopamine, and then go back to living the same life over and over again? Or do you want to be the person that's going to go out there, you're going to sit down and you're going to say, look, I don't give a shit what it takes. I've decided that I want to be someone that has full and total control over my life, my business, my financial situation, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes to get there. Whether that means working with the right people, whether that means investing into yourself, whether that means, making a sacrifice that other people aren't willing to make to have the life that other people would never, ever have. So, hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribe and check out the description below.